So they say that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But what happens if you eat an apple and you get sick and you still need a doctor and there's no one to come to your rescue because they've all quit? Do you just eat more apples? Or do you change the policy on what happens after you graduate medical school? Dr. Karen Siebert, who is an anesthesiologist, wrote an article called "Don't Quit This Day Job" in 2011. And in that article, she expressed her concern for doctors who go to medical school and then leave the practice for an extended period of time. She was mostly concentrating on women. Although there is a high percentage of female doctors, they are known to have less productivity than men, especially in the primary care fields, which are very important. 71% of female pediatricians take an extended leave of absence at some period, whether to have a baby or to raise children, and that's 5 times more than their male counterparts. And what Dr. Siebert's concern is that we're going to run out of doctors, and also that we're going to run out of money. And although doctors do pay an astronomical amount to graduate and to go to medical school, it doesn't cover everything. And so the medical establishment in the state has to cover much of their tuition. And so she's concerned that we're putting money into people who aren't giving us back what we put in. And so, although she doesn't come up with anything to fix this, her idea is that if you want to be a doctor, you should always be a doctor full-time, and that you should not take off any time to raise your family or to have children. I found this article to be a little condemning of people who decide to take time off to have children. And although Dr. Siebert doesn't put down people that are stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home parents, she makes it very clear that if you want to stay home at any point, you should not be a doctor. If you want to stay home, you should be a journalist or a banker or a lawyer, but never a doctor. And she claims that she raised 4 children and was a doctor full-time and didn't miss out on any of their lives or on her grandchildren's lives. And I would have to disagree that she had to have given up something in order to be a full-time mom and a full-time doctor. And I was raised by my parents, and I had a stay-at-home mom. And I believe that they are very important to the world in general. And I think that her criticism of pediatricians, who are known to take the most time off, is unfair. And although we have a shortage of pediatricians, when they are taking off, it usually is to go on maternity leave and to care for their young children. And anybody who is a pediatrician is going to know that the first few years of life are very important and should be respected as very important. And so her tone in this essay is very critical. And I believe that until there are certain rules, such as there are in the military, of if you enlist, you give this much service, and then you are granted full-time status, or things like that, until there are those rules, doctors are going to continue to go to medical school and put in money and put in time, and they're still going to take time off to take care of their families. And I don't think they should be blamed for that. And if we need more doctors, then we should train more doctors. But Dr. Siebert sees it as a growing concern that we are going to run out of people to take care of other people. But my stance is family first.